Did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is?
There are a lot of games out there that are branded as educational, like Brain Training, Mavis Beacon, or House of the Dead Overkill. There are, however, a whole bunch of games that aren't inherently educational, but actually have a lot of valuable life lessons we can all learn. Like how to handle copious amounts of booze and still be a functioning cowboy. We know it sounds a little confusing, but don't worry, we've got you covered because we've put together a list of the 10 games you didn't know were educational. You're probably wondering why we've listed Call of Duty as an educational game. You might even be ridiculing us for that choice of game right now. But Call of Duty teaches us all one very valuable lesson that we can apply in life. How to appropriately communicate with others. Who of us haven't been in a pre-match lobby in a Call of Duty game and heard fellow gamers communicating in a mature and reasonable fashion?
You're just mad because you've never been successful in anything except for sucking your dad's you piece of shit.
Case in point, this type of communication is among one of the most valuable life lessons that any game can teach you. Here's a game you might consider educational in the sense that it teaches you how to drive. Which would be silly. We drive cars, not go-karts. However, what Mario Kart does teach us is the benefits of communism. Yeah, you heard us. And you're probably quite confused. But allow us to explain. Aside from Mario, the titular character, being a common labourer and sporting a thick Stalin-esque moustache, the overall gameplay mechanics are quite reminiscent of Marx and his theories. Think about it. The players at the front receive very small advantages from the mystery box, but the players at the back gain things like the bullet bill or the blue shell. These are massive advantages that keep the playing field fairly level. Okay, maybe it's not totally communist, but it's at least somewhat socialist. The distinction between the two is also quite an important bit of education. Far Cry 3 and 4 could probably teach you how to survive in the wild, or how to heal a broken leg by bandaging your forearm. But something it does teach that's often overlooked is how to be a considerate tourist.
We've got men.
The plot lines for both games involve you, the main character, being a tourist in a foreign nation. In Far Cry 3, you're on holiday with your friends, and in Far Cry 4, you're on a pilgrimage to fulfill your mother's dying wish.
Your mother, she never spoke of me, never mentioned.
Throughout each game, events unfold and you have to react to them. Which brings us to the point of being a considerate tourist. You are in a foreign country after all, and it's often important to embrace part of the culture. It just so happens that a large part of the culture in both fictional nations is rampant violence. So well done for you, for being a great tourist.
Report to the ship as soon as possible. We're bang, okay? Where's that?
Armali, back on Thessia. My mother and I live
Mass Effect being such an incredibly captivating series, there are obviously a lot of things to learn. Chief among are 3 things: diplomacy, polyamory, and alien seduction techniques. The first is pretty obvious, as Commander Shepard needs to ally as many races together to fight the Reapers. The other 2 are a little more subtle within the series, and they complement each other. Once you learn the timeless lessons of alien seduction, you'll be able to apply it as often as you like, thus fulfilling the polyamory lesson in this game. It's common knowledge that the Kerbal space program is quite a realistic physics simulator, and actually having engineering experience benefits you in the overall game. But what does it teach? Well, the value of life, of course. What better way to learn the value of life than to endlessly send little Kerbals to their doom in an attempt to create the perfect rocket? There appears to be an infinite supply of Kerbals as well, so there's no limit to failed tests. It's quite important because when applied to NASA, one would want to get it right first time, at the expense of thousands of little Kerbals. You may be thinking, given the way the other entries have gone, that we're going to find some obscure life lesson in GTA and Burnout. You would be wrong, because it's exactly as you expected. The games teach us how to handle a car, one of the most useful skills to possess in life. And these two games, among others, teach it to you. For free! Aside from the basics of driving, GTA especially teaches gamers standard roadside etiquette, the advantages of wearing a seatbelt, which might actually be the only real educational life lesson on this list. Alright, now you might be thinking, aha, yeah, this one's about history. But you'd be wrong. Age of Empires and a smattering of other real-time strategy games teach gamers how to properly plan an invasion. Conversely, these games also teach gamers how to properly defend against an invasion. It could be argued that this is a pretty useless educational tool, but who's to say a world leader isn't watching this video and isn't entirely certain of the fundamentals of either invasion or defense against invasion? Whether we're doing the world a service or disservice in this scenario remains to be seen.
Yay.
Education can come in many forms, and sometimes, believe it or not, it can come in the form of something other than a game. Just like No Man's Sky. While No Man's Sky is a game, it's not the contents that's educational, but rather the purchasing itself that's taught countless gamers a valuable lesson. Namely, the definition of buyer's remorse. It's a lesson taught all too harshly by Hello Games, as they advertised a game that had practically no resemblance to what the trusting consumer eventually got. Criticise all you like, but no one can deny the effectiveness of this lesson taught. In a monumental twist of events, Assassin's Creed's unexpected educational value comes in the series' ability to factually bring the past to life in a video game. It's genuinely an excellent way to learn about the key moments in human history, like that time when Pope Alexander VI got in a fistfight with an assassin and lost his life as a result. Or that time when an ancient god used pirates to unshackle herself.
Advanced in time. Your minds were not yet ready.
And who could forget the time a magical golden apple almost won the Crusades for the assassins? History books are no longer needed. We've got games to teach us, alternative facts. Last, but certainly not least, we've got Dead Rising. For many aspiring photographers watching, this is absolutely the game for you. Throughout the campaign, you utilise your character's camera as much as you like to document the zombie infestation taking place right in front of you. This is also a great game for aspiring investigative journalists. Some of you might say that Pokemon Snap would also impart these skills on players. But come on, that's just silly. Pokemon aren't real. And those are the 10 games you didn't know were educational. Best get to your respective consoles and start the learning process. We're sure there are more educational games out there, so if we missed any games that taught you a valuable life lesson, please let us know in the comments. And be sure to like, share and subscribe for more ridiculousness here at ZoominGames.
last time I saw Ishwari was years ago. She told me she loved me.